Can I ask you guys a question? Would we have Antonio Brown on if he was available?
I know Dan's answering, but go ahead, Dan.
I would say no.
Jason, you're the producer of the show. What do you think? What would you encourage? Like, again, and for people who understand how it works, okay? So let's say Antonio Brown's people reach out to whether it would be you or potentially Lee Mayock, who books the show as well. Okay, so one of you two, and I get a text. Hey, Antonio Brown's available. Do you want him? Right? That would be you'd get an email, you get a call, you get a text, and it would be thrown out to me. Buyer would say pass. Right? Buyer, is that what you think?
Yes.
Okay, Jason, if you got that text, would you filter it up the line to me, or would you just go like, we're good? What do you think?
No. That I think that would be escalated to a level of you and I would have a conversation about it. And I think that where I would come out on this would be it's a name, it's relevant. No matter how sick some people are of it, he still moves the needle for whatever reason. And I have faith in you as someone who does an interview who might get him to say something that he hasn't said yet. And maybe you might call him, you might call him to task on a lot of stuff that he's been saying. So right. I think it would make for good radio, even though he has been kind of tired.
Yes. Okay. All of that. Yes. Yes. All of that. Okay, so here would be my response, because this is last night I saw that Nate Burleson, of course, is hosting CBS This Morning, and they're doing these like going around doing kind of fluff interviews. I don't think Real Sports was a fluff interview, but there's so much stuff that he wasn't pushed back on that I just don't understand why he wasn't pushed back on, right? So my response would be really simple. I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to do it with restrictions on what I can ask him. That's it. If there are no restrictions on what I can ask him, we'll do the interview. But if there are restrictions on it, then I won't do the interview. Right? Well, you can't ask him about the lawsuit in Miami. You can't ask him about the chef. You can't ask him about the Vax card and be like, pass. But as long as I can ask him about everything, I would do the interview.
Yep, that's the call.
Byron, would you be okay with that?
Can you run that back again, Doug?
Sorry, I know you're working. I know you're doing
right.
For people to understand, Dan does a lot of different things, not pertaining to this show, which he needs to do for work. So I apologize in advance. So if I were to say, hey, look, as long as there's no, you can't ask about X, Y, or Z, I would do the interview.
If you were given those.
As long as I'm giving no parameters, no limitations to it.
Okay.
Then would you be okay with me doing
that? I would be more apt to it. I would also be more apt to it if it was an exclusive and not just, a car wash of him going to different places trying to get out his word, his piece.
Fair enough. Do you think that's what he's doing, the car wash, or do you think he's doing one by one and going through things?
Well, I've seen now he's been on Real Sports, was on CBS This Morning. I'm sure he's going to be somewhere else. Talking his talk.
Oh, look, I'm tired of it too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like I'm like you. I'm just as exhausted of it. But I think I'm also exhausted of the fact that we're not calling him on all his BS. I mean, and if he wants to push back on the mental health thing, I'm okay with that. But just understand, people are giving you the mental health thing as an offer, as an excuse, as an explanation for why your behavior is so reprehensible. Like, he's pushing back. How dare you say that I need mental health help? Like, okay, well, if you're not crazy, then you're just an a-hole. That's really what it is, right? I don't care what they said to you. I don't care. I've never seen, nor will I ever see, a player take off his clothes on the sideline and wave goodbye to his team while they're playing a game that they're trailing in. I don't care. Nobody cares. Everybody in real sports, in real America, is like, hey, dude, I don't care. What you can't do is what you did. What you can't do is what you did to the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is not the first time. This guy's an a-hole. If he's not crazy, which he's not, he's just an a-hole. What kind of guy does that? The same kind of guy who stiffs a chef. What kind of guy does that? The same kind of guy who throws furniture off his balcony, nearly hitting a kid down by a pool. What kind of guy does that? The same guy who in week 17 of a 17-week NFL season with the Pittsburgh Steelers, no shows at practice, and then has his agents like, well, he'll show up for the game. No, he's the worst. And I would feel bad putting a microphone in front of his face like you would, Dan, because, again, you just help him. But I would call his bull crap. Right? Remember, he argued about the helmet. He burned his feet. There's always something. And then when he leaves, he burns the place down. Pittsburgh, he burned it down. Oakland, he burned it down. Right? When he left the Patriots, he tweeted out stuff about the owner. Right? And then when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are eliminated from the playoffs, he posts on Instagram the picture, and then somebody photoshopped about them being eliminated from the playoffs. Like, dude, you're the worst. If you're not crazy, you're just an a-hole. That's it. The Baltimore Ravens want nothing to do with you. And it has nothing to do with your talent. And of course that makes you upset. Anybody who ever feels like my personality has alienated me from a job that I love. Look, bro, it's not me. I've rubbed people the wrong way. I just haven't burned down every stinking bridge I've ever crossed like you have. But this is what we do. We chase these like, well, this podcast he did got some 100,000 down. Like, okay, at some point somebody has to go, we're good. We're good.